I am officially back. I shouldn't say officially back. I don't feel like I ever went anywhere this time, but I've not made content for you all in a while. So, or live streams, that is. I have done content. I don't think it's getting pushed as well, but there is content that is out there. Let me refresh my screen over here, make sure that the link is kicked on. Yeah, see in the comments who else here. Looks like there's a couple of people that joined. I was having a bit of I don't want to say panic attack, but I definitely was joining this being like, do people still remember who I am? Like, are they going to join my live streams? I've not done one in forever. So I'm very glad to be doing another live stream for you all. So again, if you are here, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see who all has joined us. I know if you're watching from your TV, you don't have a keyboard, so you can't necessarily let me know. But it's always a nice touch just to see who all is here. All right, looks like the number is growing. Hello, hello, everyone. And Cruise with Amanda is our first commenter. Thank you, Amanda. Let me know too if the audio is okay. I'm trying a new little this way, a little headset here versus my lapel that you often see me on. So let me know how this sounds. I was testing it out, and I'm not really sure if it's giving me the quality that we want or not. But I thought that I would try it out. Hey there, Annette and Bob. Hey, David, always a pleasure to see you all. Welcome to the live stream. I was saying before a few people got here that, I was a little hesitant. I didn't know that people were going to join anymore. It's funny, when I go on cruises, you all know I love to meet people and have people come up and say hello and that they watch the channel. And the one request I have gotten the most was, Brandon, when are you going to do your live streams again? So I'm super excited. They're actually the easiest thing for me to do. I should be doing more of them because I literally just click go live, and I come and talk with you all. And there's not a lot of preparation work. There's no video editing, which has been my life recently. So very glad to be back in the live stream with you all. Hey, Shelly in New Jersey. I just met a woman from South New Jersey this morning getting off the Celebrity Reflection, who I was talking with. Hey there, Wendy. Thank you for confirming the audio sounds good there. And Annette Bob saying also sounds good. Thank you for that. There's also, I'm hopeful that they change what they call the latency. So oftentimes when I go live, there's normally like a 5 to 10 second delay between what you're hearing and what I'm saying. And I think I switched the setting. They've got a new feature on this program where it can be quicker. So hopefully this is more in real time. So hopefully that's going to be the case and we can be a little bit more engaging with the conversation. Anyone else had a chance to come in to the chat? Who else is here? All right. Well, with that, this is the way it's been done in the past, and you all might be a little hesitant, is I just love working off of your questions. If you've got thoughts, we can certainly, discuss. Like, this is why I'm here, is to chat about cruise ships. That's what I love doing. And so I thought this was a great spot to come to do that. And so if you have anything you want to talk about, feel free to put it in the comments, and we'll let that kind of drive our conversation tonight. I do have some notes over here that I took on just things that I can bring you up to speed on, but I do love seeing the comments come through. And if you haven't already, do make sure you're giving a thumbs up to this live stream just to say, hey, you're here. It means a lot to me if you do that. So I was just talking, I just got off of Celebrity Reflection. And I got to tell you, I mean, I think Celebrity Reflection is going to be my new go to ship. She's going to take a break from weekends for a little bit coming up. But it is just such a nice experience, you guys. The price point has seemed pretty good so far. I went on this one by myself, and I think I booked it for maybe $600, $700, which for Celebrity, I don't feel like is a bad deal for a weekend. And they do such a great job. They have a top tier event, which on Royal Caribbean, when I was over there, they never did anything on the weekends. They did for a little bit, they tried it out, but nobody ever went. Here, they have tons of people that go to their top tier event, and it's always really well attended. The officers are extremely visible. We get to see them all the time. So it is a really, really good ship. I'm meeting a lot of great people. And I will say, this has always been a topic of conversation. Food on board cruise ships. It's all over the place sometimes, right? Like even from a weekend to a weekend, if I'm on the same exact ship, there can be a pretty big change sometimes. But the Reflection is doing a consistently good job. I was there with one of my dear friends this past weekend that I got to have dinner with every night, and we both were raving about how good the food was. They've got some new menu items on there. It's always nice being somebody who shows up and you tell me it's Italian night. I go, okay, here's what I'm going to order. But in this case, they had a few new things on there and they were exceptional. So if you're going on Celebrity coming up, check, they've got a entree that is the cobia. It is a Florida fish, I am told, but it was very good, done in some brown butter, but very, very good. They had a new, the first night, they had a new like Asian chicken kind of deal that was also very good. I didn't have the, they did a pretzel crusted pork chop. Yes, I got that right. Which that to me was not great. It was still kind of juicy, but I was really hoping it had more of that pretzel kind of taste to it. But it was that kind of faded out, unfortunately. But the food overall, the buffet everywhere was wonderful. The only thing that I deem celebrity for when it comes to food is desserts, and I think that's a lot of cruise ships. I think that they always talk a really big game, and then you get there and it's like, eh, like walking the dessert line at the Ocean View Cafe in the buffet. They don't even look that great, and there's a very limited menu in the dining room, but they were all good. What I did have, especially, I had a new, it's not new, it's been there for a while, a guava sorbet from the buffet that was amazing. So if you like sorbet, it was a really good texture. I was a huge fan. And there's Denise. Welcome, Denise. I was just talking about you and talking about how great we love the food on this last cruise. Denise was my buddy I was telling you all about. Hey there, cruiser. Cruise chat with Amanda. You're trying to between NCL Breakaway and NCL Jewel for Bermuda. Any suggestions? I have only done one NCL sailing, Amanda, and that was not this weekend, but last weekend. I actually did it. I did the getaway for the very first time. I've never done NCL. It is consistently more expensive than the other cruise lines. And with the benefits that I get on most of the other cruise lines, it just hasn't made sense for me to go to NCL. This time it was shockingly the cheapest. I think I booked it maybe 4 weeks out, got two people in a balcony room for I think like 350 each. It wasn't bad at all for a balcony cabin, but I didn't enjoy myself. And so I've got to make a video now on how me and NCL, we're not going to be friends. I don't see me going back over to NCL. Some of it is just that their system, the way they do things, they add the, I know you can remove it, the alcohol package, which I like to get because then I can have coffee, but I also don't like paying like the gratuities on a drink package that I'm not fully going to be utilizing. So I'm not the go-to person on NCL, Amanda. I don't know much about any of those. If you want to talk about Jewel of the Seas, that we can chat through. But I don't know much about NCL, unfortunately, other than my one weekend experience. And I can't say that I want to write home just about that one. Hey, Margot, welcome as well. It was great meeting. I'm trying to see the picture. I think that's you and Charlie in the picture, if I'm not mistaken. The pictures are super small on here. But a pleasure being able to meet you all as well. So I've not had a live stream for a while, and so I've even been on Oceana as I met Margot and a lot of other people. I've got the videos are starting to come out just now for Oceana. So I had the full ship walking tour go live yesterday. If you've not watched that, make sure you head over. It doesn't take long. It is a small ship. It was me and 600 of my closest friends on board the Oceana Insignia, and I timed it. So you could literally walk from the very forward section all the way to the aft in about 45 seconds. It doesn't take long at all. It is a super small ship, very easy to get around on it, but so nice, so pretty on board. I went with mom on that one specifically, and we had a really, really good time. She loved it. The food was fantastic. The people were amazing. The staff were great. We could not say enough nice things about Oceana. So I'm really hopeful the videos go well for Oceana. I continue to look to see if I can afford to cruise them again. And we got really lucky. So they were testing out the Tampa market to see, hey, does it make sense to cruise out of Tampa? And I found a 7 night honor for $1,500 a person for an ocean view cabin, which, if you know Oceana, that is a steal. That is a really good price. And so me and mom went. But all the prices coming up are 4, 5,000. I think I saw one for two earlier today. Um, but I would love to go back. So I've got to get in the good graces with their social media team. So hopefully all the content that's coming out will do well and talk highly about them. Now, one thing I've not been doing, and I don't know if you all like this or not, let me know in the comments. Hey, Ward, welcome. Is I've not been putting you all's faces and pictures in the chat. It's an easy button for me to click here, but do y'all like me doing that, or is it distracting for you? I mean, I can do it over here. Sometimes I forget to turn them off, is the biggest problem. But it's nice sometimes just to put the question on the screen or the comments. So I see Lana has a question here, and so this is one that I will put up simply because it's on the longer side. Let me see if I can get the gist of it. So question, my daughter and I have cruised on much older ships, including Norwegian, Royal, Vision, Carnival Pride, all great ships. What should I expect in terms of being on a much larger ship? Oh, great question. We did buy the key for the Salem because of Wi-Fi. Yeah, and it's about $10 more per day. Great. So you definitely did the math correct on should you get the key. So when it comes to the key, the one thing you have to look at is if you're going to buy Wi-Fi for everybody to start with, is how much more is it than the Wi-Fi package is currently going for? And if it's around that $10 mark, I think the benefits can absolutely be worth it. You get a lunch on board first day. That alone is, in my opinion, worth it. You'll get priority seating. That to me is not as worth it because you still have to show up early and you probably can get any seat you want to at that point, but it does go a long ways. So, what can you expect on a larger ship? You said much larger ship, so I don't know if you mean like an Icon class ship or an Oasis class ship, both sizable. But what you can expect is, I mean, logically, a lot more people. And the reason I call that out on smaller ships, to me, and I love small ships, you feel more like a community, that you're part of something, which I really appreciate and really value. Because if I meet you at this bar, there's probably only two or three more bars that I can see you at, and we're going to run into each other again. And I really enjoy that element of going on a cruise, is getting to meet people and see them time and time again, like Margot that I was just talking to. You could not hide on Oceania by any stretch. When you go on a big ship, you will meet somebody once and you might not see them again the entirety of the cruise. There are a lot of places for you to go on there. There's some beautiful places. They are unique, they're different, but there is a ton of them. The shows are also going to be stepped up. So if you're going on Royal Caribbean's Oasis or um, the Icon class, you're going to find really good Broadway style shows. And I should also mention, because I think a lot of people forget about them, but MSC, the World America, is the same size as an Oasis class ship, and it is very much so an MSC ship. It's got its own style to it that MSC puts on it, but it is gorgeous in a very sophisticated, stylish way as well. It doesn't have everything that the Oasis class has, but I think they have more. But a lot of it, like I don't need. There's also a lot of things to do for kids. I don't have kids, and so that just isn't things that I'm going to do. I would say if you are going on an Oasis class or a World class for MSC, I love like the outdoor space. Central Park, the boardwalk, the aft section of the ship, they've got all these great places that you can hang out, be outside. That is my absolute favorite thing to do on any cruise ship, is to just be outside. So that is always fun to me. So hopefully, Lana, that helps your question a little bit there. And we've got Meryl, another one of my very dear friends. Hey there, Meryl. I was actually thinking about you all. I'm going to be home this weekend, so we might want to be in touch. I'm not going on a cruise or anywhere else this weekend, you guys. I'm actually going to be in Miami on Saturday and Sunday of this coming week, which is, unheard of. It happens maybe once or twice a year for me. So more to come on that. Matt, always a pleasure, sir. Hope you've been doing well too. It's funny, we were just talking about Pinnacle Children the other day, and so your son popped into my mind. And in this case, we were talking about a Pinnacle service dog, if you will. And so then we turned to, the kids that are turning Pinnacle as well. So I know yours has been Pinnacle for a couple of years now. He made it a while ago. So always good to see you. He also does, what is it, Matt? Keep me honest. You have a blog yourself. Rooms, tours. Put it in the comments. You can tag yourself. I don't mind. And Cruise with Amanda, that was definitely a steal. So when I see good prices, like I want to book them ASAP. I'm not able. It's interesting. There's this shift sometimes on booking cruises. I would say a year or two ago, I was telling people to book them far out, that you wanted to book something a year and a half to 2 years out if you wanted a good price on it, because we just kept seeing prices explode. But this year, I feel like the opposite is true. I think you could actually play the short game, get closer to that 90-day final payment mark, and decide if you want to go on a cruise line, because that's where I'm seeing really good prices at right now. I'm kind of shocked actually on how good the prices have been for a summertime schedule. Normally, I take the summer off. I don't cruise a lot during the summer. My full-time job kind of takes over, it has in the past. It's not this year. So I actually have the opportunity to cruise a wee little bit more. So I've been looking at prices and they're staying really consistent. I'm not seeing that summer skyrocket that we have seen in the past. So I'm super, super appreciative of that. So hopefully I'll get on some more cruises that you all can see me on. Let's see who we got here. Mr. Wagoneer, welcome to the chat. You did make it very well. Very good to see you. I was knew you commented on the Facebook page, so welcome in. Eugene, it has been a while. Thank you for joining. Always great to see your name pop up. Cruises, rooms, and review. Warren's on top of it. He's got you, Matt. I knew that it was something like that, and I was just like, it's something with rooms, and I'm all over the place. There's too many of us on YouTube these days. I can't keep them all straight. Margot, another MSC person. You walk on MSC and you definitely get the wow factor. Now that they've been in the American market for a while, they have really stepped up their customer game. So you can now recommend them. And I would totally agree with that. When they first came to America, they had a tough time. They had a tough go of it. They were not doing a great job. And I didn't cruise on them at that point. But all that I heard when I started cruising on them was how horrible they were and that I should never cruise on MSC. And some people, I think, still have that in their mindset. But having gone on, gosh, I should check the spreadsheet. Hold on. I can tell you how MSC cruises I've been on. I've been on a good number at this point, and I can fully say I've done 12 of them. It's a good experience. I enjoy MSC, and for the value, you cannot beat the cost of an MSC ship. I just did Grandiosa, $850 for a balcony cabin for a 7-night cruise. They've got one in December that I was just looking at. I almost booked it. It was a solo cabin for just me in it. It wasn't a solo cabin. It was me only in an interior cabin, but it was going for $250, including port taxes. Walk me through that. Like, why are people not booking more cruises? I don't understand. They are pretty cheap. If you just keep your eyes open, you can find some really good deals. And I feel like with Memorial Day this weekend, happy Memorial Day, and thank you to all the veterans that are out there who've made all this cruising possible. There's a lot of good sales that are also going on. So if you haven't taken a look this weekend or repriced some of your cruises that are out there, make sure you are doing that. But Margot, I totally agree. MSC has gotten their act together. I was talking with one of the crew members on my last, I think it was Seaside cruise, and he was like, "Oh, I only want to work in the Americas." He's like, "I have no desire to work in Europe." And I think that they've had to figure out that there's different ways that they have to approach the cruising community, because expectations in America versus Europe, from what I hear, are very, very different. I'm not European, so I don't know those expectations as well, but I feel like this is just a learning curve that they had to go through. Matt's heading up to Alaska, staying in Fairbanks. Oh, that'd be beautiful. And you're going, I'm trying to see what time of year if you listed it here. Um, but Alaska is one of those places I'd love to go back to. But what I'm really interested in, Matt, I've done Alaska only once, and that was in 2009, is I want to do Norway. I keep looking at the Norwegian fjords, doing like I think it's pronounced Hergruten or something like that. They're not the cheapest in the world. And I'm not exactly sure how they're basically mail carrying boats that stop on all the islands up and down the Norwegian coast that will take passengers. And so I think there's two lines that are up there now. I would love to try one of them out to see the Northern Lights. There's one place that I'm like, do I want to go to Norway in January? Yeah, yeah, I do. I would. I would pack a jacket and I would go and hopefully catch some Northern Lights. They've actually got on one of the lines a Northern Light guarantee. So if you don't see the Northern Lights while you are there, they will give you a complimentary 5 night cruise to come back and try once again. So, I mean, what do you have to lose? Oh, you're going on Independence here, Shelley. I do love Independence. Out of Cape Liberty, goes to Nova Scotia. Have you been there before and have any tips? I have been there before. I did one cruise on the Brilliance of the Seas ages ago out of Boston. It's funny. I lived in Boston, as many of you know, for 11 years. And as soon as I moved to Florida, this seems to be the story of my life. I moved to Florida, then I was like, let me do a New England cruise. And I booked a cruise out of Boston. And I moved down here to be to the ships, and I was in Fort Lauderdale cruising out of Miami. So I moved to Miami, and now I'm cruising out of Fort Lauderdale. It's just, welcome to my sordid life on housing decisions. It doesn't ever seem to work out. Do I have any tips? It was a while ago, Shelly, so it was probably 2019, 20 that I probably did that. So I'm not sure that I'm the best. Sign up for the tours. Do all the tours. Halifax was actually a really cool place to me. You don't need anything there. But you got Peggy's Cove, which I remember, absolutely beautiful place. So if you do get a chance to go and see some of these, I think you're going to be having a blast and eat some seafood. If nothing else, you got to have some seafood while you're up there. There are so many channels now, but hey, Matt, you're making some friends. I love it, my friend. It's always good to see fellow YouTubers out there supporting everyone. Do I worry about sickness from like the one on the news, or are you really big cruise line safer? Um, Cruise, look, like, I'm not going to talk bad about cruise lines. Like, viruses of any kind are everywhere. We are definitely, when we go on a cruise, we are a lot more concentrated in where we're going, where it shows. We're in the dining room, we're in more crowded hallways. There is the potential for anything to spread. Norovirus has been here for years. It's been on cruise ships probably since cruise ships have been around. And we don't talk about it much, but it has broken out, gosh, a few times already this year on different cruise lines. Even some of the cleanest out there are winding up getting norovirus. COVID is still out there. The flu is still out there. There's a lot of like common colds that are still out there. And if you leave your house and put yourself in an environment where there are other humans, you run the risk of getting sick. So for me, I'm a hand washer. I use my sanitizer. But that's about the extent of my cleanliness, I guess. I try not to touch things like that I don't need to. So I'm going down the stairs. I'll keep my hand close to the rail, but I don't touch it. Though the stainless steel surface, I have the impression is antibacterial. And they've also done a really good job of making the touch button. So if you have to push like number 10 to go to the 10th floor on the elevator and you have touchscreen elevators, those are actually antimicrobial as well. So they don't allow germs to foster on them or to build. And so the cruise lines, I think, in the newer ships at least, have made some design changes that are really good to hopefully contain that. But if you go on a cruise, if you go anywhere on any vacation, you could get sick. So speaking of which, my last 3 land trips, I got sick. So I went to Peru last year, and we stayed up at a really high elevation for 5 or 6 days, going to Lake Titicaca, doing Machu Picchu, and the town at the base there. And I got what did they call it? A lung embolism or whatever. It's where my lungs started to fill up with fluid because it didn't have the pressure that I'm used to here in Miami. I live at 0 feet sea level. It allowed fluid into my lungs, and so it basically was making it really difficult for me to breathe. It was very short breath. I wound up on oxygen. So that was probably the scariest I've been on one of the trips. When I went to India a year and a half ago, I ate something from one of the Sikh temples that I should not have. They were giving out little treats, what they call prasad. When we were leaving, I ate it and was violently sick. Luckily, that one lasted for about 2 hours. I went to bed, woke up, absolutely fine. And I did Bangladesh in October of last year. I ate the same exact food. I had 2 other people on there with me, ate the same exact food as them, and I got violently sick for 3 days at the end of that trip. So, not a way that I wanted to wrap it up, let alone the way that I wanted to fly back from Bangladesh through the Middle East. So, my track record of going on cruises, I've gotten sick on one cruise. Who in here remembers my COVID cruise from? what year was that? 2021, 22 is when I was doing the COVID cruise, that New Year's Eve where I got COVID and had to go into quarantine. That is the only time, to my knowledge, that I've gotten sick on 179 cruises that I've been on now. Um, However, my last three land trips, I've gotten pretty sick. So take that antidotally as you'd want to. Hey, Ben. MSC is wonderful. Their MSC policy, yes, let's talk about this. So, if you are looking at going at MSC, and I think that you should be because the price, the value is absolutely there. If you love a suite kind of area, their yacht club is a really reasonable price. They've also going to have an interior in their suite section. So, if you want the butler, you want the bells and whistles, the restaurant, the private pool, you can do an interior room. It's still on the pricey side. I've never done it because I'm just not willing to do that, but it's a really good deal for value for what you're going to get. You can also get into it through the bid up program that they have. But we want to talk about their excuse me, we want to talk about their internet here. So the internet on MSC, when you buy Wi-Fi from them on most of the cruise lines, I know Royal, Celebrity, Virgin, Princess, you can do this. You can log in and log out of a device. So if you buy one device, it means you can use one device at a time. If you buy two devices, you can use two devices at one time. So if I only have one device, let's say, and I'm using my phone and I want to switch to a tablet, I can log out of the phone and then log into the tablet and I can just keep going. It just means my phone's not going to work while the tablet's going because I only get one device. On MSC, their crappy policy that we're talking about here, and look, I get it, is you buy one device, I hook my phone into it, and it is locked to that device. I don't get the ability to then flip it and switch it to the tablet or to a laptop. And so when I go on MSC for long periods of time, I've got to buy two packages now. Granted, I get one for free from the Blue Diamond status that I have there, which is amazing. I upgrade it for about $6 a day because it's the basic package. And then I buy one flat out for, I think theirs are going for like $23, $25 per day. But hey, I'm a content creator. That's what I got to do. So, it is stressful. It is difficult. If you're going over to MSC, just know that that's going to be one of the differences that you're going to have. MSC, I think, does have a really good crowd and energy too. So on the C class specifically, when everybody's in that central atrium there, that is three different floors, you can look down, see the party going on, but all the floors are partaking. You got people up and down the staircase. It is a really good time, especially their white night party that they do. It is fantastic up on the open deck. I'd say Celebrity is starting to give them a little bit of a run for their money, which I would not have thought. But Celebrity has this new Shine the Night. And so if you want to wear bright sparkles, bright colors, or you want to go in white, it is Shine the Night. And they've got these little plastic tubes they pass out and you just bang them. And it's really driving the energy. It's getting the crowd engaged. We've had some really good times on that one recently. So, yeah, we'll see how that plays out. It's interesting to say Celebrity has a better crowd sometimes, though. With me saying that, I was noticing it on this past cruise with Celebrity, on the Reflection specifically. It's becoming, the crowd is starting to look more like Royal Caribbean. And what I mean by that is it's a weekend and it is priced better than the weekend options with Royal Caribbean. So if you want to go on Wonder of the Seas, you want to do Utopia, you want to do Jewel, you're going to pay a premium compared to going on a Celebrity ship. And so what that is doing, I think, is you've got these families of 4 and 5 that are bringing their children onto Celebrity, which used to not be the case. But given the price difference these days, and it's still a solid cruise, you're bringing kids onto the ship. There was two cruises ago, so like 3 or 4 weekends ago, same Reflection. There was a group of kids that were graduating the eighth grade, and so their parents got together and said, let's take them on a trip on the Celebrity Reflection. So I kid you not, there's 25 of these people that are moving in a horde around the cruise ships, being obnoxious. Like you would hear all the guests talking about how obnoxious these kids were being, because quite frankly, they came on a Celebrity ship and there's nothing for them to do. Like, what do you think they're going to do other than get in trouble? There's nothing to distract them, to wear them out, other than literally run the hallways at that point. And so that's just, I worry what the long term implications can be of that because I personally love a less children focused cruise such as Celebrity. I'm finding myself gravitating towards that to princesses to the virgins versus Royal Caribbean and all the kids these days. So it'll be interesting to see how celebrity, if they keep saying that, hey, the family ships on Royal keep making all this money, they very well could start saying, you know what, maybe kids sell free isn't a bad idea for us. So we'll see. Matt, Norway is definitely on the list. Maybe we should get a group together. That might be something fun to do. I imagine knowing the size of those ships, we probably could do a full charter takeover with very limited effort. Hello, stranger, the River Pirate. Welcome back once again. You've only been on, I'm not reading that. Of the 24 cruises you've been on, three were on MSC Royal Norwegian Cruises later this year. I'm waiting on MSC Atlantic to be. Have you cruised Norwegian Getaway? I did. I cruised it last weekend. And so I talked about this a little bit earlier, but it was not my favorite. Like I left that ship being pretty upset actually. I wouldn't even say that I left thinking that it was kind of blah. I left thinking it was a bad experience. And so I've got to make a full video kind of going through why that is. And look, like it's interesting. You know, I've been on a lot of cruises. I like to think that I'm a savvy person, but when you go on a new cruise line, even for somebody like me, who I like to think that I can figure these things out on cruises, like they're not all that different. Norwegian was so different, so frustrating that it kept me from having a good experience. And so I want to make a video on it. And you know, it is one cruise with them for a weekend for only 3 nights, and it was not a good showing. And so getting me back on that cruise line will probably take a pretty big effort unless the price is just right one of these days and I go over there with my enhanced knowledge of what I know now. But it's not something that's going to be on the list. So hopefully all cruises are not like that. I have the feeling that what I experience is normal for NCL. So I'm just going to throw that out. The only redeeming quality that I will say that I liked about NCL on the Getaway was the food there. I did enjoy the food on the Getaway. It was good food. And they give you one specialty restaurant that was included. That was lovely. But other than that, like, can't say that I was wanting to write home about that at all. So Holden, it wasn't Aguas Calientes. There was another one, or maybe that's where the train went to. I'm trying to think of where did the train leave that took me to the base of Machu Picchu, or to that city where we stayed the night and then we went up. Um, that's I should know this. This is what you when you travel too much. Everything you just kind of start forgetting. Hey, always glad to help you feel more comfortable with cruising. I know, you know, just do what you can to stay safe, to not pick up any viruses while you're out there, and you're going to be in good shape. I will say, though, before I move on to Eugene's comment here, if you do get sick on a cruise ship, know that the medical center on board that is going to be treating you is considered a revenue generator. They are going to charge you, and they are going to charge you dearly if you go in there for mild symptoms. If you go to the infirmary there, the medical center, they are going to charge you dearly. I do not recommend doing it. I say this loudly for the Europeans, the people that have national health care. That is not the case on any cruise ship. It is going to be considered private health care that you will need to pay for out of pocket. If you have travel insurance, that very well could cover it. If you have primary care insurance here in the US, that may cover it as well. Know your policies, but I traditionally advise people not to go to the infirmary unless they need to go to the infirmary. If you need to self quarantine, great. If you need medicine, see if there's got one of those medicine dispenser boxes. They often have them in vending machines, or it's going to be where they sell the alcohol and wine. Interestingly enough, that's where they put all this stuff. Or get off the ship in one of the ports and go buy it there where it's going to be a better value. I'd even say go to one of the ports and see a doctor there versus seeing the doctor on the ship, if that will be an option for you. You'll get probably, I don't know if you'll get better care per se, but it'll certainly be cheaper. So anybody who's had an experience with going to medical on a cruise ship, let me know. Luckily, I referenced the COVID cruise that I got sick on earlier. I didn't get a bill for that because back in the day, and this is not the case anymore, if you went in with COVID symptoms, they gave you the visit for free because they did not want an outbreak on their ship of somebody being a super spreader of COVID. So they were trying to, I don't want to say reward you for being noble and being honest and being like, hey, I'm sick, I need to quarantine. Um, but they did not charge me for that. And when I went in there, like, I, did not necessarily want a lot of treatments or anything. And they started saying they wanted to do this and that. I was like, guys, like, I don't need all that stuff. Like, if I have COVID, like, I'm fine doing the test, but I don't want to do anything else. I told them that I was having pains in my chest because, the lungs are tough and it's around that area. And they wanted to do an EKG on me. And I was like, I don't need an EKG. I just have COVID. I'm okay. And for those of you that are in healthcare, I also know that my EKG is abnormal. So should we have done that, they would have then thought I was having a heart attack, and it would have just gone downhill from there, even though I know that I would not have been having a heart attack. So I just very kindly opted out of the extra stuff. But since I said all of it was COVID related, even the chest, all of it would have been complimentary should they have done it. But otherwise, not so much. Maria, always great to see you. Got to meet Maria on World America a while ago. We've been trying to set up another cruise since then. So hopefully it will work out for us, Maria. I feel like it's been ages. But welcome to the chat. So glad to be back. When I first came on here, I was telling everybody, I was like, I didn't know if people were going to join or not because I've not done one of these in so long. I didn't know that people were going to be like, oh, Brandon's still here, and be excited about that, or just be like, we're done with him. So a little bit of, I don't know if that's imposter syndrome or what you would call that. But I'm so glad to see people coming back, seeing so many familiar faces. It is truly great to build relationships with you all. And I think live streams is one of the best ways to do that. That's the name I was going for. It is Cusco is the town I'm going for. So it is a higher elevation than Machu Picchu, and I stayed there for a significant period of time, and then went over to Lake Titicaca via train, which was absolutely gorgeous. There's a train that cuts you kind of through the mountains, and it feels like it's a countryside. But Lake Titicaca is the highest elevated lake in the world. And on the way there, that's where I developed my cough, and then basically started wheezing and gasping for breath that night. So luckily, we were at the hotel. The hotel was used to these situations. They had an oxygen tank for rent that you could get there. They did give you, I think, the first 15 minutes free, but you were allowed to rent it and take it to your room if that's what you needed. Did not seek medical care for that one, mainly because I was flying home the next day. And the best cure for altitude sickness, get out of the altitude, go home. So I knew that I was going to be flying out the next morning. So I just took the oxygen and then got on the flight. But getting my lungs back in order was probably a 2-week ordeal from that. I was kind of surprised. So if you are going to a high altitude, do take the altitude medicine. It probably would have helped me. I did not take it. But for whatever reason, I thought altitude sickness, this is my own naivety, was only being nauseous, being dizzy, things like that. And I was developing a cough. I thought I was just picking up a cold of some kind. And like I did think it was pneumonia that was coming on. But come to find out, it's just another sign of altitude sickness, a different kind. Pulmonary edema, that's what it was. So if you go there, do take it seriously, do take your meds. Hey, Karen, always great to see you. This I should go back and look and see when's the last time I did a live stream. It has been certainly a while since I've done that. I'm curious now. Um, but it's like never being gone. It's kind of great actually to be able to pull up with everyone once again. So the last live stream here, Karen, we had a chance to see me was in December. So I have gone almost 6 months without doing a live stream, and I am so excited to be back and to be hanging out with all of you once again. Oh, you got Hideaway Beach here, Lana. You are buying it up for the no kid aspect. So this is something that I love, but it also annoys me. Like my corporate self says, well done, Royal Caribbean, on building out Hideaway Beach where you have an adults only section. But the genius part of this from a revenue perspective is they created the problem of having too many kids on there. Like with Kids Sail Free being all the time and making the ship so kid accommodating, they drove tons of kids there. And then they're like, you know what? we should now charge you for the privilege of not hanging out with kids. And so they found a way to take that and turn it into a revenue generator. And it's kind of brilliant because I know a lot of people, including myself, Lana, who we'll pay not to hang out with kids. I actually did that on NCL Getaway last weekend. We did buy the adults only section there. That was another redeeming part. I actually shockingly did enjoy their private island. It was more robust than I was thinking it was. It's kind of like a pre Coco Cay, but the area we were in was actually quite nice. Let me see what else you got here, Lana. Seems like those ships are more adult centered. They are. Back in when they were building these ships ages ago, they didn't have slides on. They've retrofitted a lot of them to have slides, to have these features for kids, but that's not been a huge thing. I think that Oasis is going to be much more kid friendly. 20 used on smaller ships, it will be. Oasis definitely will be more kid friendly. Not as bad as like an Icon class or Legend, but it will be. Depending on the price that you got, I'd say why not? The thing that I always warn people about for Hideaway is it is adults only, but that means 18 plus. So you may have some seniors in high school, college kids there. You're not going to have, necessarily. I think when people think adults only, they have two different mindsets. They are going to think that number one, it's going to be an adult party, meaning we're going to be going pretty hard. We're going to be drinking. We're going to have music and fun. And that's what this is going to be, especially if you're by the pool. If you don't want a adults only party day club kind of situation, you're going to want to walk further away from the pool to get away from some of that craziness and chaos that's going on over there. It is a good time, but it's not a relaxing. That's the second thing that I think people think about is adults only is a relaxing area. And so I've seen some people get a little testy because people over there living their best life, having a blast, drinking a little much, being loud, and they're trying to relax. And you just have to know going into it. I think that the adults only section for Royal Caribbean is going to be more of that party cruise. If you want more of the um, relaxing vibe, the section for NCA Great Stirrup Cay was actually quite relaxing. There was actually no music at all, which was a different story that I didn't appreciate. There should be some kind of music, something, even if you have like spa music playing in the background. Like I want to hear something, but they had absolutely zilch over in this area, which was interesting. I think some people started playing their own, but super interesting. Maria, I was just thinking about this today. So I was playing with the newsletter. I forgot the program that I used to make the newsletter. So it took me a little while. It wasn't MailChimp, it's MailerLite. It took me a while to figure out where I was at, get the login correct. But I would love to do another group cruise. So let me know in the comments, you all, if you want to do a weekend, you want to do a 7 night. I've only done one. Oh, excuse me. Only one 7 night cruise. That was a group, and that was World America, where Maria came and joined us. But we've done a few weekends. I know weekends are tough for a lot of folks to come down, but let me know, what you all want to do. If you want to do weekends, if you want to do a longer sailing, I am well on my way to planning out 2027. You know that I love to daydream, see what's possible, where I can go. So if you all have preferences, certainly let me know what you want to do, and we can take it from there. I did just look. One of my favorite things to do is I just got back from the Ascent, Celebrity Ascent, and so I have never done an Edge class ship. You all that know me know that I have complained about that a few times, that they have never put an Edge class ship on the weekends, and so they had one sailing on the Ascent this year that I booked as soon as it came out, and so I was just searching today for, hey, maybe there's another like unicorn out there that normally doesn't do weekends that has a random weekend out there, and there's not. Because I think I look back and I was like, that would have been a really fun group cruise to get everybody together for the Ascent on a weekend, which is already a special cruise to start with. And I kind of missed it on that one, Maria. So I gotta figure out what my schedule is going to look like and what we can do. I might be able to do something over President's Day weekend in January. That might be the first opportunity I get to do it. Otherwise, it might be October. My nephew is getting his happy birthday 16 gift. And so I give my nieces and nephews the gift of travel because I want to show them the world and make sure that they get some culture in them and realize that there are different ways of doing things. Just because you know one way of doing it doesn't make another way of doing it wrong. And so I want to expose them to all of that. And he's requested to go to Japan as well as to China, specifically Shanghai. And so I'm going to be taking him over there for 2 weeks. Initially, I tried doing it for a week, and I was just like, there is no way. I was like, I get that your spring break is only 1 week, but for this trip to be good, for us to actually get there and have time to do something, I need a solid 2 weeks because just flying out there takes 3 days. So luckily we have that. So that's going to take up some of my cruising, and that'll be exclusively on land. I looked trying to find a good Japanese cruise. NCL does have some of those, so does Princess, but none of them were for the time frame that I needed them to be to make this work. And with him, I knew he was going to want more of like the Legoland over there, the Disney World stuff. Kid technology over the top, the opulence. He initially wanted to go to the Middle East, which I love going to the Middle East, by the way. But right now, as you all know, it's probably not an ideal time to go to the Middle East. And, I don't feel comfortable making a plan to go there in March of next year because I don't know that it's going to be a great time to go there then either, unfortunately. As much as I enjoy going there, would have loved to have shown him Oman, Dubai, the UAE, Bahrain. That's just not going to be possible. That's actually one of my favorite cruises I ever did. I did 2 weeks on Jewel of the Seas, and it was for a New Year's sailing. And so we did the week before and the week after, and there was 3 days over actual New Year's. We were in Dubai, and so all aboard was that last day in New Year's. And so the captain pulled the ship from the pier, the port, and we just kind of hung out there looking at Dubai, and we had an absolutely gorgeous display of all of the fireworks coming out from the Burj Khalifa, from the El Arab Hotel. It was absolutely astonishing to be able to see how lit up Dubai was for the New Year's Eve celebrations. And one of my absolute favorite cruises. Met some wonderful people on there too that I am still in touch with, which is always nice. They are Brits living in Turkey. So, hey guys, if you're out there. But it was a really, really wonderful time. So, when the Middle East is safe for us to feel like going back, and maybe you do, and I'm just the chicken here. Would love to be able to go back there. Yeah, that section did like a little bit of personality. It's interestingly so for Great Stirrup Cay, I walked over to the pool just to see what it was like. And their pool reminded me of Oasis Lagoon back in its heyday. Back when that was the only option you could go to, people everywhere, party everywhere. It was a bit chaotic over there. It was loud, it was noisy. Granted, I went probably towards the end of the day. It was definitely a vibe. And so I'm glad that I did have the ticket because I'm more of the relaxing kind of person these days. I don't need the high energy anymore. So it's just one of those. And Maria, this is probably my favorite private island hack or trick is an overnight at MSC's Ocean Cay Marine Reserve. Now, for those of you that haven't researched or haven't been to Ocean Cay just yet, it's stunning. It is a marine reserve, and so it is not a theme park. It is more built up today than it used to be. The water is absolutely magnificent. There's, waves that you're going to have off the shore. It can be a little bit rocky. They've also got a soft serve ice cream that I love, which is key lime and coconut. Get the swirl. You'll thank me later. It is such a beautiful place. And when you go there for an overnight, they have a lighthouse party on the night while you're there. That'll come on right at sunset, so a little after 8 o'clock, depending on the time of year. But you can watch it from the island. You can't explore the entire island while they like section you off to a certain section, but you can stay out there till about, I think it was 10 or 11 o'clock at night. They'll even do, maybe it was midnight, and they did a little party out there with a DJ and lighting and all that good stuff. And then the next morning, you can go out there. What I'll tell you though is if you're looking at going out there on the second day that you're there, because you do have an all aboard and then they'll open it back up first thing in the morning for you to get off, is not many people get off on the second day. So you will have the beach to yourself for those few hours. Normally it's an earlier departure that day. So all aboard is going to be 12, 1 o'clock. But you will have the ship or the island to yourself. I would say a fraction of the people get off for that short window of time. And it's one of my favorite times to be there. Holden just got off MSC class. It's interesting on MSC, and I don't know if I have quite wrapped my head around this yet or not, but I would agree with you, Holden. MSC does not feel like it is kid heavy. And there's definitely kids there. I mean, kids go on MSC. They've got slides, they've got tennis courts, they've got all the stuff that a kid would want to do. But you don't get the sense that kids are everywhere. And I think that the way that the MSC, especially the C class ships, are designed, I think that they have found a way to section off the kids. And so they've kind of got their own little section, and we don't integrate or don't come in contact with them as often. But it definitely is by no means like it is on Royal Caribbean or Disney. There are kids there, but it is not to the same tune. And haven't quite figured out why. The price point is absolutely there for families. And they do, as you mentioned, kids sale free here as well. So I don't know where that's going to go. It's going to be interesting. Oh, Eugene, you upgrade yourself over to the Coco Cay Beach Club. So, what Eugene is talking about here is you do at Royal Caribbean's Coco Cay have Hideaway Beach, which is the adults only section. That is going to be your party crowd, and it's normally going to run you $50 to $100. It may have gone up over time. If you've bought a ticket for it recently, let me know down in the comments what you're paying for. I'm most curious to see what people are paying for those. But Eugene here is going over to Coco Beach Club, which is not adults only, but it is, excuse me, it is more of a suites kind of vibe, more relaxing, more spa music. So we've got those overwater cabanas that are right there, and they've got their own little infinity pool that looks over the water, and they have amazing food over there. They serve lobster on their menu, but they're going to charge you a higher price point to go over there. That one these days, I believe, is going for about 150, 200, 250 to get you in there. It is a super relaxing experience, Eugene. I would say that I also agree that it is where I would see myself, but then I look at the price and go, oh, but I could do another cruise for that, or I could put it towards something else. And I nickel and dime myself sometimes just so I can not feel bad about buy yet another cruise. I just put a full deposit down on Celebrity Beyond today that I feel like I got a good Memorial Day sale for over Labor Day weekend. So super excited about that. But it means I got to save some money to make sure I can pay for all these things. David, I think that you and probably a lot of people, it's interesting being the weekend cruiser and only focusing on short cruises. I would think that a lot of you all are local to Florida, that you are down here in Florida. And what I'm finding is it is quite the diverse group. There are a lot of Floridians here that can just jump on these weekend cruises, and it's not that big of a deal. But there's a lot of people that fly in, or for longer sailings that still appreciate the content here. And so, thank you for supporting the weekend cruiser. We'll see if we can get you on another one. I might be able to figure out a 7 night. We'll see. I got to talk to some friends and see what's going on there. But at the earliest, it's going to be January over the long holiday weekend. But if you have any preferences, let me know in the comments. Also, if you've not given this video a thumbs up yet and you are listening in, enjoying, please make sure you are giving it just a quick thumbs up to tell everybody that, hey, we are here. I know that I'm getting back into the swing of live chats, and so I want to make sure people see it coming to their channels. I was hearing for a while that a lot of you aren't seeing the videos that are being pushed to me, and I think that's because I'm kind of jumping around cruise lines a lot these days. And so I am not always on Royal Caribbean anymore. I think when I was on Royal Caribbean, I posted some Royal Caribbean, there's people that are loyal to Royal and it always got pushed to them. Now that I'm doing NCL, Oceana, Royal, Celebrity, Virgin, I did a Carnival sailing. I feel like the content's not finding its niche as much, and it's hopefully going to make it over there to you. But if you haven't seen it in a while, I have been consistently posting for a bit now. Make sure that you're just going over to the Weekend Cruiser on YouTube, clicking on it so that it says, oh, I'm actually kind of interested in this guy, or maybe just coming here is going to help you out there. Yeah, I think it is just good ship design on MSC's part. And MSC, and this is totally my opinion, I feel like their interior spaces feel a little bit more sophisticated and a little bit more elevated, than Royal Caribbean. And the way that I see that play out is I feel like kids and adults both kind of behave themselves a little bit more because it looks a little bit more sophisticated than what a Royal Caribbean ship does. Let me know in the comments if you all agree with that statement. That might be a controversial take, but I feel like the look of MSC's ships are more sophisticated than Royal Caribbean. Selena just supported me. Thank you, Selena. So if you all have not seen, there's this QR code in the upper left here that is Buy Me a Coffee. So if you're loving the content and you want to help support it, this is certainly not a cheap endeavor. I mean, I was going through and looking at all the subscriptions that I have that I'm paying for right now. There's a lot that goes into this that you all don't see. So if you do feel like supporting, it is always well appreciated, Selena. Thank you for taking a moment to do that. Every little bit helps. If nothing else these days, I'd love to buy a new laptop. And so that's one thing I was like, maybe I should do like a fall fundraising drive like NPR does. Because when I first started, it's the same computer I've been working off of for the entirety of having YouTube. I bought it for YouTube. So I got a big old 17-inch monitor that I could take with me or laptop. And it weighs a ton and it is killing my back. I don't want to take it anywhere. I've had just about everything on it replaced already, with an extended warranty that I got in the last moment. So I'd love to downgrade to something that's a little bit more portable that's not going to give me back issues down the road, but still be able to process and get these videos out. So maybe we'll work on that at one of these points. What about Spectrum of the Seas? What about it? I'm not sure what you might be referencing on Spectrum. I've not. Oh, you're saying do a group cruise on Spectrum? That's an interesting concept. I would love to. I've not been on Spectrum. Those of you that know Spectrum, she lives in Asia. She does not go anywhere else. She stays in Asia. And so she sells Japan, she does Singapore, she does all those places over there. And so I would love to do her. I've got friends that sell her consistently. Yes, the Weekend Cruiser has an Asian presence as well, which blows my mind that people around the world watch this. But the one time that I did a cruise out of Singapore, I actually was able to meet up with fans of the Weekend Cruiser, and it was a really, really good time to be able to hang out with him. Shout out to Livingston if he is listening in. He pulled out the red carpet in Singapore to welcome me to his country. But that's really neat. Like, especially Lisa, thinking of some of us solo cruisers who we want to go explore the world, we want to see, but we want the comfort of having people with us. That might be actually a really good fit. Hang tight on that. I'll see what I can do. I can't promise anything, but I'll take a look at it. Hideaway for $56 for August. That's not bad at all. I feel like, Lana, in winter it might be a little bit more expensive, which is where I was getting that number from, because the pool is heated. That is one of its claim to fame. One of the only things, in my opinion, that really what's the word? Separates it from the rest of the place. There's a D word. Disintegrates. My words are not coming out tonight. Um, Anyway, separates it from the rest of it, distinguishes it, there we go, from the rest of the island is in the winter, it has a heated pool, and that can be amazing if you still want to be in the pool. I traditionally don't do pools. I think I can probably count on two hands how many times I've been on or been in a pool on a cruise ship. It's not something that I do anymore. I'll go and I'll read books by the pool. I'll have my bathing suit on, but I will, for the most part, never get into the actual pool. And I think one of the reasons for that is I'm not in the sun. Normally, I'm always in shade, and so I don't overheat and quite need it. Hey, cruising beach bums. Any must-do restaurants on Utopia? So Utopia is great. It is definitely a party vibe. It's going to be a lot more expensive probably than you thought it was. I'm always shocked at how much they're charging for Utopia up in Port Canaveral. It is a pretty penny for a weekend up there. Not as much as the Disney ship, but I think that that's kind of how they're able to distinguish themselves. As Disney's charging even more, and so they're coming into that and still looking competitive in that market. Any restaurants that you should do? So Utopia has the train station, Utopia Station. So if you can do that, it's a kitschy experience. You get to walk into what feels like a train. You've got the windows that are going to go by that are going to have LCD screens that make you feel like you're on a moving train. That is something that you're going to want to do. But from there, I would say I enjoy the mason jar. I will say I did it for brunch one day, and it was a really good experience. I don't know that I always saw the value in it because it's still just like Southern food. And to me, Southern food is cheap. Like it doesn't cost a lot to make a biscuit. But they did a really good job executing it. And so those would be the two main places I'd say that you'd want to try to get to, Utopia Station is going to be the most exclusive of them, and so you're going to have to work to make sure you get that ticket. Good to know, Liana, that I am not the only one who's thinking that MSC ships feel a little bit more sophisticated. I think it takes people a little bit of getting used to as well. If you're used to other styles of cruise line, MSC is a style of its own. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of the dark woods that you see in the older ships. It doesn't have a lot of the newer vibe that you see on some of the more modern ships. It is a style all to its own. Some people say that it's European style. I don't necessarily know what that means, but you can get a lot of mirrors, a lot of black, Swarovski everywhere, great lighting systems. It's just a really good vibe. Same with Maria, and MSC World America is definitely a little bit more on the classy side. Okay, so you guys are confirming, Holden's chiming in as well, that I am not just making this up in my mind, but it does feel a little bit more. Let's say Eugene. Mason jar. So we're on the same page there. Mason jar definitely for Utopia. They've actually, most people don't realize, but they have a bar there that has its own kind of cocktails. If you want whiskey and things of that nature, they've got a really good selection that you won't find anywhere else on the ship. You don't have to be eating there to go to the bar. They'll also have live country musicians in there as well. So if you want to go and just hang out there without actually eating the food, you can certainly do that and take them up on their drink menu. So, Maria, I don't think I've told you guys yet. I actually have my first transatlantic cruise coming up in November. So, I have been at my company for a long time now, my full time job, and I'm going to get a sabbatical. And so, I've got 6 weeks that I'm going to be able to take off in October, November. And so, I'm going to be touring Northern and Western Africa. But at the end of that, I'm going to fly up to London for a few days and then catch the Sky Princess back on November 5th. So I'm going to be doing my first transatlantic crossing back to the US to Canaveral. And luckily for me, that ship comes in on a Friday. And so, you know me, I'm like, well, if I'm already in Canaveral on a Friday, clearly I have to book a weekend cruise to go after my transatlantic cruise. So I'm going to do 15 days on the Sky Princess, and then I'm going to do 3 days on the Royal Caribbean Brilliance of the Seas on her inaugural weekend sailing. So Brilliance is coming down to do weekends out of Fort Lauderdale. So super excited for that and to be able to showcase to you all another weekend ship. So that'll be great. The problem with those, Maria, is they're often long. So the one that I'm doing on Princess is 15 nights. I think the Queen Elizabeth does the shortest, and it's going to do Southampton direct to New York. And that you can find for 5, 7 days if you need to. But I would like to keep it under 7. I think when you start getting longer than 7, it gets a little problematic. Unless I find like an 8 night that leaves on a Friday or Saturday from Florida, that could be doable. And there are a few of those that are out there. Hey, Douglas. I know. I was telling everybody earlier that, I love meeting you all on cruise ships. And the one thing that, people always like be like, Brandon, when are you going to start the lives back? When are you going to do the lives? And so I'm super excited to be doing the live streams once again. They're the easiest thing for me to do. I turn my lights on, so hopefully my lighting is good. And we just talk. We have a conversation. I love coming on here, talking with you all about cruises and cruise ships. And so it is always a great time. By the way, Douglas, I will say a quick thank you for always commenting on the videos that I post. It's interesting, like, as much as I joke around sometimes and say, I love meeting you all on ships because that's when the relationship becomes real. When I go, oh, this is actually a real person, it's not just an internet or a bot, something like that that's commenting. But I still see and recognize a lot of names. And so I still kind of get to learn people a little bit from the comments. And you've been very consistent in your comments. So thank you for the encouragement and always saying something there. And I am still in Miami. That's where we're coming to you live today, is in downtown Miami. I have no intentions of moving at this point. Miami is treating me well. I've been in Miami, I think, 3 years now, or coming up on 3 years. And so it's where I want to be. I have no desire to go back up to Fort Lauderdale or a different port of Florida. If I was to move again, it would probably be something a little bit more drastic where I have to leave the state because of work or something like that. So, not that I'm planning on that happening either. I'm in a really good position where they let me do my thing here in Florida, which is great. So, hopefully, that won't come to pass. Definitely do one on Brilliance. I think Brilliance class itself, Radiance class that is one of my favorites. The design of those ships, like it doesn't get more classic than that. I mean, I've done some of the Vision ones as well, but there's something about the Radiance class, the ship of glass, as they like to call it. The first ship to say, how do we take the inside and move it out, or how do we draw your attention to the water? And it is really, really well done. It is more of an old school style of cruising with a lot more dark wood, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I love those ships, and so I am super excited to be going on this one. Jewel of the Seas, who is currently doing weekends out of Fort Lauderdale, who Brilliance is going to be replacing, not my favorite. She's under renovated, and I haven't had good experiences recently on her, and she's charging a pretty penny for me to go on her. And so I'm hopeful that Brilliance is going to have some better pricing when she comes over here. I booked this one for a good amount. I have mom with me. So, by the way, mom's going to come with me on the transatlantic crossing. So, I'm super excited about that. I'm pushing her outside of her comfort zone. I teed it up to her and was like, "Hey, what do you think about flying to London and joining me on this crossing? Because I'm already in that section of the hemisphere." And so she's going to have to fly over by herself. And she's like, "I don't know, that's a long ways." And I'm like, look, it's no different, mom. You fly to Miami by yourself. My brother's going to drop you off at the airport, and I'm going to be in London waiting for you to land. And so I'll meet you at the airport. And so the only difference is you just stay on the plane for 6 additional hours at that point, and hopefully you get a really long nap overnight. So you can do this. And she's like, let me think about it. And so the next day, I just like, so I went ahead and booked you on the cruise, and she was like, okay, let's do it. So she's super excited to be joining me, and so I'm going to be very grateful to have her for 2 weeks on that ship with me as well. So I'm very excited for that. I don't even know how I got on that, but she's gonna be going with me on Brilliance. Oh, I booked a balcony on it, and I feel like I got a decent price. What did I pay? Let me look at the spreadsheet. $780 for a balcony on Brilliance for two people. So, in my opinion, not bad if you want it. It looks like it's pricing out pretty good these days. So check it out, Liana. It really is. I mean, it's great for Alaska. I think, is it Brilliance that's been over in Alaska? They've had a Radiance class ship over there for quite some time, and now they've got the Quantum, which isn't, Quantum to me is too confined. Like, I get that it is built for cold weather in Alaska, but when it comes to Quantum of the Seas, they don't have windows outside except for in like 270 and a couple of other places. That it feels very confined to me, and that I don't like about Quantum. And I don't know if you all watched my video on comparing the C class to the Meraviglia class with MSC. I am definitely a C class fan because they have done such a great job of taking the inside and moving it outside. They put you outside on that ship as often as they can and comfortably. It is a nice experience to go on there and to eat outside, to be able to walk outside on their boardwalk, to hang out at pools and feel like you're kind of not on a ship at times. It's really, really well done. The NCO Getaway this past weekend tried having a waterfront is what they call their boardwalk, and it just was not. It wasn't utilized well. They had a few bars out there that not many people went to or even knew about. Probably nobody was walking around. If anything, people went out there to take naps because it was so quiet and sleepy. And so I thought that it was a really wasted opportunity on the getaway to improve that area. I think you're right, Liana. I think it was Serenade that was up in Alaska as well. I think you are correct in that. All right, sounds like I am starting to lose my voice a little bit here, but I think that there's more people that have joined us. So if you are here, make sure you do press that thumbs up button, leave a comment. Love to see who's here, even if you just say hello or hi. It's always great to see. I wonder if in the meantime, I don't think I have it set up. I'd love to do a poll to see. I think I have to create a scene for that maybe. I'd love to do a poll on here, or I could do it in YouTube, I guess. Um, I'd love to do a poll just to see where you guys want to go on a group cruise, and we can see if we can get one of those scheduled. Let me see if I can figure that out first, real quick. The joys of multitasking while on a live stream, my headset, so hopefully you can still hear me while I'm listening to me talk behind. All right, so let's start a poll. Where do you want to go on a group cruise? We've got some options here. So we heard Asia. I'm going to throw in some big names first. Europe, Med. Granted, if we do January, Med's tough. Or Caribbean. And then we can always narrow that down to see um, if they have a weekend or not. So I did the last group cruise I did was actually out of Los Angeles. So Los Angeles, I don't know if y'all know this or not, it gets weekend cruises as well. And so I got to go on Ovation of the Seas. It was a new ship for me as well, which I'm excited about. And I've not shown you guys, speaking of new ships, I've not shown you my cruise ship collection. You know that I collect the cruise ship models. It's kind of exploded recently because I used to just stay on Freedom of the Seas. Like every weekend, it was Freedom. Now that I'm bouncing around a lot and I'm trying out different lines and different brands and different ships, I'm getting a new ship model every time I go on one of these cruises, and they're kind of going all over the place. So I'm going to have to look at expanding or coming up with a better organizational kind of scale to track that a little bit. All right, so if you haven't voted in the poll yet, make sure you're casting your vote if you can. I don't know if you can do that on your TV or not. I always feel like a lot of people watch these on their TV versus their phone. Glad I'm not the only one on this, Leanne, that the waterfront, I wanted to like it. And I actually did hang out there at the bar because I wanted to be outside. But the rest of the time, you couldn't see the outside. It was very odd. Um, so, I mean, it made it quiet at least. Very good to know as I figure these things out. It was so weird to hear because eventually the ad stops and then it starts playing the my video feed. So I start hearing myself come through the earpiece, which is kind of on the weird side. Oh, Liana, I would love to do Explorer Journeys. That is, she has gotten such a great reputation in such a short period of time that I would love to do Explorer Journeys. I think you did this already once before, so you're speaking from experience on this, but I would love nothing more to go there. It does come at a price point, of course. It's a lot different than a weekend, but for a special occasion, we might be able to swing it. The more the merrier. I absolutely I love this and agree with it. The Caribbean probably will get the most, I think, but it's always interesting. Maybe I should do two. I would love to actually do more group cruises because there's so much fun when you all come with me. Maybe I should do one domestic, one here in the Caribbean, and then one internationally. Now I'm getting creative. Y'all are creating a monster in me. I'm booking more cruises just so I can go and meet everybody. Oh, Karen, that's really smart. So, Karen's tip of the day is she does watch on her computer. She wants to see, my big old face coming in at 75 inches wide, which, by the way, I always watch it in this like little box on my computer screen. And so when I see my face on the TV, it terrifies me because I'm just like, oh my God, I'm huge. It's quite funny to me because I'm not used to seeing the video footage that up close. When you're editing, it's a small little box. Even now, it's not even the full monitor screen that I've got going. But it always is hilarious to me when I see myself on the TV. But with that, if you are on your TV and you want to leave comments, you want to be in the poll, you can certainly connect your phone like Karen did here. And so you're kind of watching in two different places, but it allows you to have a good picture, but to also be able to engage, which is the part that I love the most. So thank you for that tip, Karen. I should take a picture of it, Douglas. There's I made a video that have set aside. It's on the points choice strategy that I'm taking on that I need to take a picture and edit it into the video. But I'll try to make an Instagram post or Facebook page post as well. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you don't follow the Facebook page, make sure you're checking those out. They are down in the description section here. The Instagram is how you know when I'm on a cruise. That is, I'm posting a picture. Here's the ship that I'm on. Here's what I'm doing. I only really use it when I'm on a cruise ship because I always feel like when I take a picture, I want to post it immediately. If I post it like a week after the fact, or if I posted cruise ship pictures on a Wednesday, I think all of you all, and you have done this, are like, Braden, it's not a weekend. What are you doing about it? No, no, it's just from the last weekend. I'm not on one right now. Um, but if you don't follow me there, make sure you do that. All right, let's check out the poll over here. We got a few folks that voted. Where'd the results go? Oh, there they are. I don't know if you all get to see the results or not, but the Caribbean came in at 42%, Asia 24, Europe 17, and I guess the Med is technically 17 as well. Europe, we'll say, is Northern Europe in this case. Interesting split. I'm kind of surprised that Asia beat out the other places. That's fascinating to me. Okay, now let's see. 3-night weekend, 7-night cruise. Now this is where the rubber meets the road. And granted, if you want to come for a 3 and a 4, you can always stay back to back. But let's see what you want to do. If you want to do a good old weekend cruise, my favorite. Those are easier to get off, but we'll take it too. Good. You all can see the results. Thank you. Jaden, where have you been all my life? Always good to see you, my friend. Welcome back. Jaden's another one that comments on a lot of the videos, so I certainly appreciate that and all the encouragement. So thank you, sir. All right, so we've got the next poll is open. What do y'all think is winning? Would y'all rather go on a weekend or a 7-night cruise? And by the way, like when I'm thinking about this, the people that are on the live streams, you all are the hardcore folks. Like I know you all are the ones that are going to rock up and actually come on this trip. And so I definitely take your feedback here seriously because you're the target audience is you all that I want to come out here. All right, we'll give it a few more moments on the results here. Maria thinks the 7-day is probably winning. Kind of a shame you can't vote for both because I think some of you be like, I'll do a 3 or a 7, whichever, but I prefer the 7. I think that's probably going to be some people out there. I mean, look, even I would prefer a 7. If I could take off whenever I wanted to go on a cruise, I would certainly be doing a lot more longer sailings than the 3 nights. They go so quick. And granted, I forget that there's also 4 and 5 nights out there. You don't have to go from 3 all the way up to 7. There's a 4 night, there's a 5 night. We did a 4 night actually one time, which was Thursday to Monday morning. So it was like an extra long weekend. And I thought that went really well. I think that was on Independence back in the day. All right, so we got some people think 7 nights is winning. Yeah, Douglas, you're right. I did show it on the old one. I should do like a then and now kind of picture, but I did a quick walking tour of it. One thing that it probably would go well on is doing a short video. So you all know I make long form content, meaning my videos are 8, 10, 15, walking tours, 30 minutes. I want to do more shorts. I haven't gotten in there. They're super easy. I mean, I hold the camera up and I talk. But what are your thoughts on me doing shorts? Do you all watch shorts? I mean, I feel like I watch more shorts than I do YouTube these days personally. So I'd be curious if I started making reels on Instagram, YouTube shorts, or TikToks, things like that. If you all be wanting, if you'd want to watch those, it would be different content. It'd be short, punchy, 60 seconds, 90 seconds kind of content. Because look, I walk around all the time and I have, oh, that's a great video there. That's a great thought. That's a great thought. Like I should share this. I've never had a problem coming up with content ideas for the channel, which is crazy. And I've never made the same video twice. I take that back. I've made a few full ship tours twice, simply because they change. And if they're 2 or 3 years old, you need to update it. But for the most part, I've never made a video twice. And so I have all these ideas in my head that I'm walking around. I'm like, oh, I should pull out my camera and just record. But let me know if you all are into that. All right, let's see how our poll did on weekends or 7 nights. The 7 nights are a strong contender. 83% of you are wanting the 7 night versus the weekend. So it looks like we're going to have to figure out how to do a 7 night then. Um, Let me put some pen to paper on that. Let's see what we can do. There might be some good opportunities out there for us. Maria, good to know you would do both. You're a trooper. That's what I like about you. Karen's the same. She'd do either, either. Oh, lots of people are eithers. Leanna, Eugene. I think it was as well, Eugene. I'm thinking the way that I remember that cruise is I remember the dining room setup. So, for the group cruises, we can have some of the same. There's like half people that have done one before, and then half are new people. And I always remember the dining room setup of how we're sitting. And so on this particular ship, it was a Royal Caribbean Independence of the Seas ship where we were at. All right, so Maria's in for shorts. Where do you all watch shorts at, out of curiosity? That might be another. I feel like I'm doing a lot of polls right now, but I'm using you all as my focus group. But I'll do one more. Um, Instagram, YouTube. I don't know if people openly admit that they have TikTok, but I'm going to put it on here. I have TikTok. That's probably the primary one that I use, just because I like the platform view or the way that the content comes through a little bit better. But let's see, where do you watch shorts? I'll put Facebook on here because I know we're live streaming on Facebook as well right now. But where do you all watch your shorts at? I've got a whole list of shorts I want to make, and I'm coming up with a workflow for it. I'm learning that I've got to batch do stuff. So what they don't tell you, video creation editing takes a lot of work. And so I spent this weekend on Celebrity Reflection teaching myself how to use AI to speed up a lot of this process. So I'm big into Claude Cowork now, I think is what it's called. I don't know. I tell it to do stuff and it kind of takes it from there, which is pretty cool. So hopefully it's going to make me a little bit more efficient, though I did tap out my bandwidth today. It has usage, and apparently I was overly productive and it told me I had to slow down. But I got 5 videos up and ready to go that are going to be launching between this week and next week's. So very excited about that. Karen, my hero, follows me on all the places. You name it, Karen's there. I actually did start making TikToks a while ago, and I think I got up to like 8,000 followers, and I just let it fall off the map, which is my own fault. Personally, I enjoy YouTube. I am more of a long-winded person, I would say. So I like to talk, sometimes getting it in 60 seconds, 90 seconds. I want to give you reasons and logic and why I think certain things. I feel like a lot of shorts, especially with cruise content creators, just give you a lot of opinions. And they don't necessarily do a good job of always giving you the details as to why they think something specifically. And so that's why I prefer YouTube. But I know that the way of the world is shorts these days. Lan wants to do a poll on the cruise lines. Let's finish out the shorts one first. So get everybody to vote in this one, and then we'll check that out too then. Maria's on YouTube. Leanna's on TikTok. Oh, you booked the trip on Insignia, the Oceania Insignia. So Carter, very glad to make that video. I've got a lot more videos coming on Oceania over the next 2 weeks. So you're going to have a pro tips. You're going to have a mom's review because mom was there, and so I had her give her thoughts. You're going to have my full review of it. But overall, you're going to have such a great time. I'm jealous. That sounds like if you're heading down to Lima, that you're going to be in really, really good shape. If you're going through Miami, that's going to be a transit through the Panama Canal as well. Gosh, that's probably a 30-day cruise, Carter. Well done. I'm not jealous at all. Hey, Charlie. I think that having those stop gaps in place for some of us is important because it's easy to start watching shorts, especially, and to just keep going. I am definitely bad for sitting down and be like, okay, I'm going to bed now after I do a few swipes. And before you know it, I've been 30, 45 minutes and I'm wide awake again. It is not good for us to do it, those kind of things. Interesting. I didn't realize Facebook allows you to do daily limits. So I'll have to check that out. I should see if I could do it on TikTok. I've actually deleted TikTok a few times because I'm like, I'm wasting so much time. I could be doing something productive. But I think that that's the reason I like it so much is I'm not being productive. Like I am a busybody. I'm always doing something. I don't watch TV. I don't know where my time goes, but it goes somewhere, Charlie. And it might be going to those shorts and TikToks more than it probably should be. Charlie, I met on Oceana as well. So me and him quickly became buddies. So Charlie, thank you for coming into the live stream. I think I owe you an email. Sorry about that. I was too busy teaching myself Claude Cowork this week. TikTok does. So I've just got to figure out, I'm trying to make this an easy process. And so I found a tool that's going to allow me to post a short to YouTube, and then it's automatically going to pull it to all the other platforms without me having to manually do that. And so I'm super excited to try to figure that out and make those come to life. Oh, Gene, thank you, sir. Gene with a $50 donation or buy me a coffee. So thank you for that. It does mean the world when you all do that. I certainly appreciate it. I don't like harping on about it, but do know that it is certainly appreciated on my point. As I mentioned, I'd love to get a new laptop. Everybody's like, oh, you must make so much money. And I'm like, I don't think people understand how much it takes sometimes to do all of this because it is running a proper business. And I thought that I'd come on here. All I needed was a YouTube account. We'd be up and running. Before I knew it, I had project management. I've got a website. I've got a mailing distribution list group. Like there's all these packages. I've got a domain name. I've got domain email addresses. It's kind of crazy. So you come on here thinking you're just going to talk about cruises and you're going to learn more about cruises. And you wind up learning so much more stuff than what you ever really set out to do. So greatly appreciate it, Gene. I know that you are definitely a huge fan, and I appreciate that. Charlie, you're on Anthem again. I love it. So he was, I think we did Oceana just a few weeks ago. So this is your Alaska cruise, I believe. I don't think that it's going, yeah, it'd be an Alaska cruise this morning. You're not heading to Hawaii. But it's great to me. I remember back in the days when the Wi-Fi connection on cruise ships would not allow you to join a live stream, and so I am a huge fan of Starlink and all the cruise lines bringing that out. The old OB3, if you all remember that term, the old internet packages, they tried. Bless, it tried, but you'd have a cloud come up, you'd have a mountain, you'd have a rainstorm. It was constantly losing, dropping internet. It was not good. So I'm glad they finally fixed that. All right, let's end the poll here and see where people watch their shorts at. YouTube is the top one by far. That is actually kind of surprising to me that so many of you watch it on YouTube. I don't even I shouldn't say this. I don't even think to watch it on YouTube. So maybe I should give it a little bit more of a role. I'll watch it on TikTok or I'll watch it on Instagram. But rarely do I go to YouTube. So that's really good to know. I mean, the reason I like that is, I'm already in the YouTube ecosphere, if you will. I don't know that there's a way to bring people from, or a good way, I should say. There is ways to tag it, to bring people from a short video into a longer form video. I think that that's where I've always struggled because I love the long form. I want to grow this channel, this platform. The shorts, I don't know that they necessarily do that. I don't know how to convert people, and I haven't learned that skill just yet, but something to practice on. But very good to know that most of you like YouTube. That's encouraging to me. Cruising, let me see if I can get this right. Cruising is fun anytime. Cheers to that. Yes, it is. Welcome aboard. I thought it was Alaska. That makes sense with the timing of it. It's too soon for ships to be leaving Alaska and heading over to Hawaii and to Australia. Ah, still 5G. So cell phone towers have definitely gotten better as well. You all know that I'm a big fan of Gig Sky. I need to make another video for them too coming up. So you'll get to see a little bit more about them, but it's such a good fit. If you only want to have minimal connectivity and you're like me, you've got your phone that you can use when you're in just about any port, and I can. I don't need Wi-Fi the entire time. I just need some connectivity at night in case somebody wants to call me. I always worry something back home is going to go awry or something like that, to make sure that I'm still reachable. Yeah, I think YouTube has probably gotten a little bit better in cross integrating them because there for a while, creators were actually penalized. If I had long form and shorts, it was penalizing because it was saying my watch volume was only 60 seconds. It wasn't the full 8 minutes. And so that video clearly didn't perform as well. And so I think that they finally worked out some of the kinks there. But I watched some of these other creators, and this is where I get imposter syndrome, I guess, and I got to figure out my own take to it. They are such good storytellers. I don't know that I'm a good storyteller. I don't think that I am a good storyteller. I think I am a good educator. I love educating people about what are the options, what cruise line's right for you, what can you expect, what are the pro tips. That's what I love talking about. I'm not good at talking about this happened on a cruise and drawing it out for 3 minutes to tell a story about it. An entertaining story, like some of the stories, like I'm hanging on, biting my nails, waiting for the outcome of it, but I'm not good at that stuff. If I told a story on here, I imagine it would probably be a little on the sharp side, uh, if I did that, because it's normally when people annoy me sometimes, that I think to make those stories. And that's when most well, that's what you all want to see is the stories where we get upset as content creators, and I'm just not good at that. All right. This is true, Karen. You do stories and education. And if I could, there's a person on YouTube who, what did he call it? Edu stories is what he called them. And so he's like, you want to educate people, but you want to also tell stories. You got to make it entertainment, or edutainment, I think is what he may have called it. So you got to find a way to blend those together. And I've just got to figure out what's my voice with a short. If I've only got, let's say 3 minutes, how am I presenting that? Is it different? Because I think it has to be different. When you're on shorts, I feel like you're watching it for a different reason. At least I am. So I've just got to figure out how I'm going to approach that. Speed Trap, thank you for this. That is one thing that I have certainly tried to stay true to. It's not always easy. Um, one of the examples I use is my channel's not really clickbaity. It might be going a little bit more there these days. I'm trying to, because I give it all away. Like if I'm showing you an Oceana Insignia Ocean View Cabin 4022, I'm going to tell you that's what you're going to look at. I'm not really good, and granted, this is one where I did title it a little bit different. See if I get some clicks. It's titled "Smallest Shower at Sea," because it was literally the smallest shower I have ever seen in 179 cruises. And so I'm trying to not be clickbaity. I want to make it mysterious, something you want to click on, but then I want to actually deliver on, hey, what is that content? Because I feel like there's a lot of people that give you a title and then you watch the video and you're like, you didn't talk about that. I'm like, it's the first 5 minutes and you've not even come close to making it to that yet. So I'm trying to stay authentic. I'm an upfront person when it comes to that, and I don't want to say I don't do drama because people say they don't do drama are the drama people. I'm not good at it. Things don't bother me as bad as they bother some other people. So we'll see how that goes. That's good to know. So it can be done. It can be done. I got to figure it out. I'll think through it. You all stay tuned. I'll start posting them. I feel like this is good accountability to me to start doing it. I've got a list of like 20 shorts that I can come up with and make pretty quick. So, um, yeah, I'll have to play that out. And Charlie, I mean, you were spot on here. Clickbait, it works. I mean, that's why people do it to such extremes. And you always see their facial expressions being like worst cruise ever. I just I don't see that being being me. I was actually getting AI to give me feedback on one of the thumbnails I made today, and they were like, "You need to change your face. Like you're too smiley and friendly for this subject where you're complaining about something." And I was like, "Yeah, I get that, but that's my look. That's my pose. I've got one look. I smile. That's what I do." But clickbait works, and it's if I make, and I've done this, I've made a positive video and I've made an identical negative video, and the negative video will triple the performance of the positive video. That's just it's the same exact subject. It's just here's the positives of it, here's the negative. The negatives always do so good. Humans, we want to see the negative for some reason. It's the craziest thing. Maria, that would be wonderful. Comments and what you want to see or what I can do better. I am certainly not the expert when it comes to these things. I'm just a guy who's hung in there for what? Oh gosh, 4 years now. I've been doing this probably. Um, so I love it. I enjoy it. And it's interesting. When I did this, one thing that I told myself is, okay, I'm not going to take the comments seriously. I see so many content creators that get pulled into the emotions of the comments, and some people just aren't kind naturally. My channel, I think I've done a really good job of just not attracting those folks or not giving a platform in the way that I present content. I still get some every now and again, but even the ones that I read and go, "Gosh, that was kind of sharp. Like, why'd they say it like that?" I go, "Okay, let me see if I can." I put it in the frame of they're trying to help me. They're saying something that they think is genuinely helpful. It just reads wrong, because there's no emotion in the text that we see here, which is kind of, I wish that we could have like a big old group conference call right now and you could actually raise your hand and speak up like we're at work. But we have to deal with the chat section. That way I could hear the influx and I could hear the tonality of what everybody's thinking. That would just be really cool, in my opinion. Clickbait that spoils itself tends to perform really well. I don't know what you mean, Holden, when you say it spoils itself. Asking leading questions in title and answer in thumbnail. Yeah, I'm getting better at it. I'm trying to use the help of AI to help me come up with what are the right things that I need to be putting on the thumbnails versus just, hey, ocean view room tour. How can I be a little bit more creative with it? And I'm getting there. And I don't think that it's being clickbaity because it's things that I talked to in the video that are actually true. Um, the other one that I did that I was kind of proud of is I've got a gym tour coming up, and gym tours look don't do well. Nobody wants to watch a gym tour on a cruise ship. That's not a place that they're planning on going to. But I've made a few recently, like the MSCs. I think this was the seashore or seaside, but their gym's absolutely beautiful, and so I called that out. And so people are actually watching gym tours. I just did another gym tour of Grandiosa, and it's going to go out probably in 2 or 3 weeks after the Oceana Insignia goes out. But it just basically says no privacy. And I take a picture of the gym with people laying out directly beside it on the other side of the glass and like a woman looking into the gym staring at you. I blurred everybody's faces because I don't know, privacy, and that's weird to me. But I blurred the faces, but you still get the gist that there's people literally right there able to watch you while you're working out, and they're drunk on the deck, enjoying themselves. It's just super awkward. The gym was still fine, but it was just really awkward. Speed trap. I like your mentality here. I like that concept. Douglas, I think this is very true. I have learned that there's actually a button, and this is more news, I guess. So I'll use Google News, and there's some places that come through that it is constant clickbait, and they look like they're reputable websites. And I click on it, I was like, there's no way. And so I just block them. I don't get their news anymore pushed to me because I know that it's all inflammatory. It is all made up for the most part. David, you are one of the few, my friend, who loves a good gym tour. But they are fun to do. I do like doing gym tours. I have not been doing good with the gym recently, and I need to get back into it. I've done doing a lot of travel. I need to get back into it. So keep up the encouragement. Maybe I'll do a group cruise and we'll focus on gym time. I'm joking. That'd be miserable. But I do definitely need to get back into the gym. Hey, Leanna. My pleasure. Thank you as well. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be lasting here either. My voice normally starts to go out around the 2 hour mark, hour and 45-minute mark. So we'll see how much longer. But thank you for joining and for all the engagement and comments. It always means a lot and glad to be back with another live. I'm going to try to do these weekly. So Tuesday nights, I think, works best for me, but more to come. Karen, you all are surprising me now. Like people are watching the gym tours. Like I'm seeing the numbers. Like you all might be watching them, but the mass audience is not watching them. Though it's so weird to me. I still have yet to figure out the algorithm. One of my good friends who went on the group cruise on Ovation, Grant, he let me film his room, and he did a solo cabin, and I just called it the tiniest cabinet seat, similar to the shower concept. So we'll see if it takes off as well. And literally in 3 days, it got 12,000 views. And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me for a 5 minute studio cabin room tour. So you never know what people are going to watch. So if I get a little bit more creative with it, maybe it will take off at some point. So fingers crossed. All right, now I think everybody's just making it up. Like everybody's watching the gym tours. I appreciate it. Like, thank you. Definitely make sure you give those a nice thumbs up when you watch them, because those need a lot of help. There's not many people on cruise ships that go, huh, I want to learn about the gym. But for people who are on a health journey, who are on a diet of some kind, or just wanting to stay healthy, it can actually mean a lot to be able to, have something to look forward to, know that you can stay in a rhythm and go ahead and be thinking about how are you going to customize your exercise routine to fit in a cruise ship gym. They are not normally as nice as your gym back home, and so it's really nice to be able to see what the options are. Tommy coming in from Holland, the Amsterdam. A pleasure. What do you think of Holland, Tommy? I have never been on it. Somebody actually just asked me yesterday. They had an advertisement come across Holland. They were like, "Hey, why don't we go on a Holland cruise?" It's not on my radar, Tommy. So I'm curious. What do you think if you're on Holland America? If that's one for you, I see you got Celebrity Edge in your profile picture, so it sounds like you're bit of a cruiser yourself, so I'd love to hear, your high level thoughts on Holland America. Oh, speech. What they're normally short speed traps, so it's not a huge time commitment. But yeah, check them out. I don't do them when there's a lot of people in them. I walk quickly. They're normally 3 to 4 minutes. They are a very quick hit. If there are people in there, they're even quicker. The one that I did for this one, the Grandiosa, actually I felt quite awkward. There was people in there. I thought the gym attendant was going to close it for me so I could get in there and have it myself. It was nighttime, and so it was a little bit darker. It's not an excellent video, but the thumbnail hopefully gets it some traction. Good to know, Tommy. I'm loving celebrity these days. So, and everybody that I know that has been on Holland raves about how great it is. It has a really strong following. So I'll check it out one of these days. But it's one where I still kind of have it stereotyped, Tommy, on it is a more senior crowd. And yes, I just got back from Oceania where the average age is 70. But I still have it kind of stereotyped there, and I'm not sure that's necessarily what I want to sign up for. But welcome your thoughts. Gene, enjoy the rest of your evening. One of these days, I'm hopeful that MSC will finally realize that I've been their biggest supporter for the past 3 years and say, hey, maybe we should upgrade this guy to Yacht Club once. Just once. That's all I want to do. I want to be able to tell you all that I've done it, record it, share with you all how wonderful it is, because everybody just raves about how amazing it is. Um, Maybe one of these days. Maybe one of them, Gene. Second with Holland. You're on a 3 month B2B, now number 40 overall. So you're doing 3 months with Holland. I mean, granted, they've got some longer cruises, so it's definitely possible. That sounds amazing, actually. I am quite well done. And your 60-year-old did not bring the. I'm surprised that Holland hasn't followed suit and become adults only. I feel like that's kind of the newest trend. Oceania is doing it. Celebrity is not going to do it. If anything, they're going to have more kids coming up. But Holland is one that I could see them going adults only, honestly, on Holland America. Viking is adults only. That's the only other one that I know of in Virgin, of course. But yeah, it's interesting. It is an older crowd, but everybody seems to rave about it. So one of these times, it's got some great itineraries. I think that's the thing that really gets me on other cruise lines that I'm not familiar with is when I go, wow, that's a really cool itinerary that it's going. Very nice. I mean, that's kind of like day and night kind of cruising there. When you're going from Virgin to Princess to Royal to Celebrity and now with Holland, um, you're having to learn new systems and ways of doing things all the time. But no, that sounds like a really, really wonderful time. Well done. All right, so I think we're getting towards the end. If there's any last comments, I'll certainly take those or questions. Glad to keep on chatting for a little bit, but you can see I'm starting to drink water more and more. It means my voice is going out on me. So, what else is out there, if anything? Is Tommy, is that going to let you off in Antarctica, or do they just go let you wave at it? I'd love to go to Antarctica, but I got to step foot on it. That's my requirement if I go down to Antarctica. Oh, Carter, that will be really nice too. I was actually just talking about that earlier. I don't know if you caught it, but I would love to go to the Norwegian fjords or even up the Norway coast, up to like Tromsø and places like that, to see the northern lights in the middle of winter. I don't necessarily need to even go in the summer. I'd love to go to see Norway. So Vikings is going to be really, really cool, I think. Viking is one that I would do too. I'm always surprised at the price point that it comes in because I'm used to, Viking being river cruises, which are pricey, but their ocean liners, they've come out with a really strong price as well. So, but again, talk about an amazing following. People that go on Viking absolutely love Viking. I've never heard anybody say the first negative thing about that cruise line. Tommy doing a drive-by to Antarctica. I get it. Like if you want to get off on the actual continent itself, the price goes up significantly. So that'll be like my only trip one year, and the rest of the time you'll see me only cruising on MSC for $250 on the weekends. If I do that, it'll eat up my entire budget. Maybe one of these days, sir. I've got to finish up working first of all, and then I can start joining you and Tommy on all these amazing cruises that you're doing. But right now, I got to be in the office still, so that is not possible for me, unfortunately. Weekends are wonderful because my boss doesn't care where I'm at on Saturday and Sunday, luckily. So as long as I'm back in the office Monday morning, we're good to go. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it at this point. I can tell my voice is going, and I need to start getting myself. Speaking of work, I got to start getting ready for bed. So I will have an early night after Celebrity Reflection, which did not wear me out. I think I was in the room by 9:30 every single night. But it is always a pleasure getting to hang out with you all. Again, thank you. I'm just always so wowed that you all take the time to come and spend with me. You have plenty of options of what you could be doing tonight, and you say you want to come hang out with Brandon. And that makes me feel really special. So thank you all. It is greatly appreciated. And I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your evening. And hopefully, we'll chat again next week. Hold me to it. I'll be back next week. Thanks, everyone.